Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1. And hey, here on ETCG1, we like to wish you a happy birthday. So if it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'm getting a little silly with that, aren't I? Today's topic of discussion, the difficult ones. And this topic comes about, why? Because I've been suffering lately. Suffering with Barbara's van. And the phrase that keeps going through my mind is, no good deed goes unpunished. Now, is this Barbara's fault? No. Is this the van's fault? No. Is it my fault? No, maybe partially. Because I wanted the Fixing It Forward project to happen. And it has, and it did. And I've helped Barbara, and I should say, have helped Barbara, me and the sponsors who contributed for the parts for the build and everything else, to get Barbara back on the road so she can do her good work at Goodwill. Well, as many of you know, that Chrysler just keeps on giving. And what I mean when I say that is it's come back a few times now, and each and every time it's a new challenge. And this isn't the first time I've run into a difficult vehicle that you try to fix and it comes back, and then you try to fix and it comes back. And I'm not talking about things like, you know, just throwing parts at something, trying to diagnose it, and it keeps coming back, you know, just because you're either not versed in it or maybe just lazy and didn't bother to diagnose it properly, and it just comes back and comes back. I've done another video on comebacks, and this is a little bit different. This is more in the sense that you just get a vehicle that's like cursed in some way. And a lot of you have thrown out there, Chryslers are garbage, you never should have worked on that thing in the first place, you should have shot it and buried it out back. Well, without an excavator, I don't think I would be able to do that very efficiently. Although there is a creek back there. I could have just put a brick on the gas pedal and sent it down there. Let the fish deal with it. You get them like this once in a while. And I've done other videos talking about how to deal with customers in these situations. And you try to, you know, lead them in and say, okay, I'm looking at your vehicle, and there's a lot of problems, and we can prioritize those problems, but you might be better off looking for a different vehicle rather than repairing this one. And I'll be honest, I felt that way with Barbara's van. But, and the but here is the tires. It had brand new tires on it. And it's a real shame to throw away brand new tires. In fact, I've mentioned before in other videos that if a customer comes in with a vehicle and it's got new or newer tires on it, most likely whatever you're gonna sell or have to sell or present to that customer, they're likely going to buy it because I've already made a significant investment in those tires. And those tires, as I've said in other videos, likely made a tremendous improvement in that vehicle and how it rides, how quiet it is, the fuel mileage, all kinds of things come from good tires. I spend my money on tires. In fact, I spent more money on the tires for my Acura Vigor than I did on my Acura Vigor. Seems counterintuitive, but I like tires. Good tires. Getting a little off topic here. My point is, Barbara's van, it's come back and I've tried to fix it, and I've worked very hard to fix it at tracking down parts. The list goes on and on. So I've definitely put my time in with it, but it's still not fixed. And what I mean when I say that is I'm to the point in the repairs to where I just put an AC line on. It came in recently, the AC wasn't working, it all leaked out. It all leaked out the high pressure port. Which is impossible to find when you're checking for leaks and putting a vacuum on the system because you're connected to it, so you're not going to find a leak in a valve or something like that until you disconnect it. And then also on some systems, most systems that I've worked on, in fact this is the only one I've run into of this type, you can just unscrew the Schrader valve if you're having a problem with that valve and screw a new one down in, send it down the road, yay! These valves were different. These valves would not unscrew. These valves were not coming out of there, period. Therefore, I had to replace the line. Well, to replace that line, I had to take apart a lot of the engine compartment, the side engine mount, the alternator, and since it had a rear air, I mean, it was a really funky, weird line. And then, of course, there was tracking it all down. I get it all back together. I start it up. I recharge it, you know, put a vacuum on the system. I come back, I recharge it. And it's sitting there running, and I go walking around to check the vent temperatures, and it feels ice cold. Like it feels ice cold. As soon as cameraman Brian was here, and he came around at the same time, and he noticed the same thing. It felt like you were walking into a refrigerator as soon as I came around that corner. I was like, yes! I finally won. I'm gonna send Barbara down the road with fresh air conditioning. Well, I rev the engine up, and next thing I know, the high pressure starts to drop. And it's not making pressure like it should, which means it's not going to cool as well. So I'm there, disappointed that I went through all that effort, spent the money on the parts. Getting the parts, like I said, was an undertaking in and of itself, and here it is, not fixed. And here I am without an AC recovery machine, so I can't recover the refrigerant to replace what I believe to be is a bad expansion block. Which is extremely disappointing because the expansion block is what the line that I just replaced is connected to. So here we are. Yes, it's gone away, and it came back before that for the instrument cluster problem, which there will be a video floating around out there. I'm not sure when you've seen it. So it's come back a few times since it's left here and Barbara picked up her van. And she even had to leave it here that first day because I had to do that thing with, replacing the wheel cylinder so I could bleed the brakes. It's a problem car for me. It's one of those cars that just does not want to get fixed. It does not want to go away. And I'm struggling a little bit because I want to help Barbara. I want Barbara to have the ability to get in, turn the key, and go wherever she needs to go. That was my goal. And I'm still going to work towards that. I can take it somewhere and have them evacuate the system of all my brand new refrigerant. But I'm also trying to work on some sort of AC recovery kind of thing here for the shop so that I have that in the future so that I can deal with that situation should it come up. It's something I should have anyway. But that being said, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experiences with Barbara's van, and there have been other vehicles in the past that I've also had issues with. I've also struggled with. I've also, been left just feeling like I want to do something else for a living. And you run into them once in a while. And that's my story about Barbara's van. And I'm sure you have a story. Maybe you bought a car that was a lemon, or you're a technician, you worked on a car or truck that has given you nothing but problems, nothing but fits. And like I said, I'm not talking about those times where it's kind of your fault, where you're just not putting your time in, or just an accident where you forgot to tighten something like a wheel. And you have a problem there. No, I'm talking more in the sense of something like Barbara's van, where we're trying to do good and we just keep hitting a wall. So what do you do in those situations? And how do you handle them? Do you just give up, throw your hands up, say take it to somebody else? Do you just sell the thing? Take it to an exorcist? I don't know. In fact, if Barbara's van doesn't get fixed after I take care of this AC problem, I might just call an exorcist. What is your take on all this? Feel free to comment down below, or there will be a link in the description to a discussion about this video over my website if you want to hang out with us over there at ericthecarguy.com. And speaking of ericthecarguy.com, if you have automotive questions, I would ask that you head over there and use the resources at Eric the Car Guy. There's a welcome video I just pointed to that will tell you all about the stuff we have there to help you. If you wish to connect with me socially, you want to hang out, you want to talk about what you like to eat for breakfast, that kind of thing. Google+, Facebook, Twitter, also Instagram. Close each of my videos. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching.